Hey, what's up everyone? Hope you're having a good end of the year. This is kind of the perfect time to look back on this year and see the things that you did. I asked a question on Instagram a while ago, and the question was, what kind of video would you like to see from me, from my channel? And one of you, Hussein, wrote that he wanted to see a video with my top 5 clips from 2022. And so we are on the final day of the year and there's no more clips possible for me to take in 2022. So today I think it's a perfect day to look back a little bit on the experience and the clips that I took and pick out the best clips from this year and the ones that I like the most that I took. Now when we say the best clips, is actually a bit general because you can actually find different categories to rank the clips, but for me that's gonna be the clips that had the most emotional impact on me when I was shooting them or even afterwards when I was looking at them. Alright, without losing any more time, let's continue. I will start with number 5. So the 5th best clip that was taken this year, in my opinion, like many others actually, is a drone clip. It was during our camping adventure in Upper Austria, and it was the second day of the camping where we visited these two wonderful lakes, the Langbadseen, I think that's how you say it, and it was definitely one of the most beautiful places that I've ever seen. The whole place looked like it was straight out of a fairy tale, with these gigantic mountains, super clean water and pine forests. I flew the drone above the lake, and when I turned the camera down, I saw a wooden cottage with a wooden boat outside of it. The see-through water, seeing some of the pine trees that had fallen from the shore into the lake and were kind of hanging upside down inside the lake, as well as the reflections on the lake of the pine trees and the steep and snow-covered mountain. When you add that wooden cottage and that wooden boat into it, it just kind of made the place really special and unforgettable to me. So that was number 5. Now let's continue with the next clip, the 4th on the list. This was some weeks after the camping trip, and this time we went on a hike. Not so far from Vienna, but we were a bit underprepared and we were late actually. So in order to make it to the destination and back on time, we decided to ask a local for a shortcut when we were halfway there. The shortcut that the local told us, it kind of messed up the whole thing actually, and that's where the adventure begins because we ended up getting lost in the forest. When we managed to get out of it, then we ended up in a trail that was not the main trail, the safe trail. It was actually a very dangerous one, but because we didn't know that it was going to be that dangerous and we also wanted to be fast, we just took it and then we started hiking. When we were almost at the top and crossing at this super narrow trail, Ellie's foot slipped. And I was filming almost the whole thing, so I captured that on video, and that just gave me the chills at the moment that I shot the video, but also when I was looking at it afterwards, how dangerous the place was. A few seconds later, of course, I packed the camera and put it in the bag so that at least I could have both of my hands free and help if something like that happened in the future, but at that moment it was completely unprepared. I couldn't do anything because I only had one hand free. It even gives me the shakes now that I'm thinking about it. But that was it. Alright, let's continue with clip number 3. This third clip was taken in Bosnia and it was during our road trip through the Balkans. It was a really wonderful and very famous touristic place called Mostar, and it was my first time being there. I picked this clip not only because of the landmark and how beautiful it looked with the lights and with all the people crossing it, but also because it was my first time filming in an actual town. Here in Vienna you're not allowed to fly the drone, but there I could do that and I found the views stunning. So I picked it for that reason, but also the landmark itself is a really wonderful piece of architecture and engineering from the 16th century. And one Ottoman explorer of the 17th century actually described it best when he said, "It is like a rainbow arch soaring up to the skies." It was actually ruined during the war in 1993 from the Croat army or something, and then it was rebuilt again and opened in 2004. That is quite painful to know that such a wonderful piece of architecture is not actually the original one from the 16th century, but yeah, it's just one part of its history and it makes it that much more interesting in my opinion. Now we've come to the last two. My second best clip from 2022 is one that looks like it's filmed in heaven. At 2,400 meters above sea level, this is a place of pilgrimage where many followers of the Bektashi order come each year. It's located on top of a mountain east of my hometown. We went there by car, and you can go up to a certain point, and afterwards we had to either rent a 4x4 car or we could go on foot, and we chose to go on foot just for the adventure and to be able to experience the place a bit better and closer rather than just passing by everything so fast with the car. The hike from the spot where we could go with our own car to the top about 3.5 hours. And then we had to do the same distance again coming back. So it was quite the struggle, and when we came back we were also like sunburned, and I felt like throwing up for the next few days. I've been there with my family in the past, and I remember having the same feeling also before, and that kind of makes it a bit more of a special place for me because it's hard to survive there, basically, so to say. But the views from the top were really amazing. Moving on to number 1. My favorite clip from 2022. It was a difficult decision to make, but I made it based on these 3 characteristics that this clip has, in my opinion, that are super important for a filmmaker to know and to possess. First one is curiosity. As a filmmaker, you should show things from many different perspectives if you want the audience to be interested in what you're saying. And I think in order for you to be interested enough to care about what people will find interesting, you actually have to also be curious about it. You have to be curious about what people find interesting and then deliver it. The second thing that you should have is bravery. As more time goes, actually also more film is being produced, more material. So people are basically covering everything already. And in order to capture something new and some new perspective that someone never captured before, or at least you didn't see captured before, you will actually have to be a bit brave to go to those places. And the third one is commitment. I don't know if I should explain much about this, but just think of a wildlife photographer capturing a video of a bear grabbing a fish as it's swimming against the stream. First of all, he had to be committed enough to get to that place, and then he had to wait for bears to show up, and he had to wait for the bear to capture the fish. So he was really committed to get there. And that's also what I mean with this clip. I had to wait, not so much, not as much as that, but quite a bit for the thing to happen. So I guess now you all want to see what I'm talking about. Here you go. I've actually never seen a train from underneath myself, and so when I got off the station I immediately had the idea, because I had the GoPro with me, to capture that. There were some things going on my mind. The first one was I didn't know if that was legal, and I still don't know if that is legal. I was curious to know what that was like, and I also suspect that it was satisfying to the viewers that they had access to the same scene from so many different angles, including from underneath the train. And the third one was commitment. So I had to wait there for 1 hour after I got off my train to wait for the other train to come so that I could film that. What do you think? Do you think the wait was worth it? I definitely think so, and I also think it's my best clip from 2022. But definitely let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Which one of these 5 clips would be your favorite that I took in 2022? So now we've come at the end of this video, as well as at the end of this year. Thank you so much for being with me. I'm super grateful that you're here. I'm super grateful that I can share my adventures and my thoughts and my stories with you. I wish you a very happy new year, and may all of your wishes come true. I'll see you in 2023 with more clips and more videos. Peace.